Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for real producers by real producers and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers. We are also powered by Top Producers Nation, which you can check us out at topproducersnation.com to learn more about that platform. And if you're an agent out there who would like to become a top producer in your desired market and would like to network with other top producers in markets all over the country, you can do so through that platform, as well as there's all kinds of different bonuses and options to help you with lead flow, help you with training, with coaching. All that is a part of that platform. So feel free to check all that out. Today, we get to hang out with another one of our special guests, Beth Cupari. How are you, Beth?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. If Beth's name sounds familiar, she has been featured in the past in Tampa Bay Real Producers. We did a featured agent section, actually, on Beth. I don't even remember what issue it was. It was a couple years ago, I think now.
It was during COVID.
It was, right.
Yeah.
So that was back in like 20, man, that's crazy how time flies that
Yes.
fast, right? So it's good to have Beth here on the show. And for people who might not know a little bit about your background and your story, we'll kind of start there. So did you grow up in Tampa Bay? If not, how'd you get here? And eventually, how'd you get interested in real estate?
Okay, sounds good. Well, I grew up in Michigan, actually, and spent most of my life in the Midwest. After college, I worked for a big company in Cleveland, Ohio, actually, Sherwin-Williams.
Did you see that football game last night with all the snow?
Yes, I did. I did.
That was something to watch, wasn't it?
And it made me so glad I don't live there anymore.
Exactly, right. A little different nowadays down here.
Yeah, so it was a great experience. I worked for sales, marketing, corporate training.
Cool.
And then decided to, at the time, my then husband was looking for a job. We decided to look outside of that area.
Okay.
So we chose Tampa. Love it.
Was weather the main driver or other things?
Yeah. Well, we were looking at locations that had family and warmer weather.
Got it.
So Tampa won out for that. And my story of how I got
When
into
did you move
real
here?
estate, 2002.
Okay.
My story is not very inspirational on how I got into real estate.
Let them be the judge of that.
I should say it's not very intentional.
Okay.
So when I moved here, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. At the time, my kids were 18 months old and 4 years old.
Wow.
And Sherwin-Williams offered me a job, but it would have been the whole state of Florida, Puerto Rico, Georgia. It just wasn't my time to be doing that type of travel. So my sister-in-law, who lived here and had her real estate license, said, "Why don't you get your real estate license?" And I said, "All right." I just moved here. I thought, why not? I'll give it a shot.
Sure.
So we closed on our house down here on September, I think it was 28th. And I still don't understand how this happened, but on November 18th, I had my actual real estate license.
Oh, wow. That quick.
I know. It happened
Yeah.
so fast, I think, because I was able to just focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a couple listings. I mean, I didn't know the streets. I didn't know anyone. But she had gotten herself into the community, and she had a couple things going.
Okay.
So we just started working together and actually worked together for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Just hit it at the right time.
Nice.
And I was able to just work it into my life, and I really enjoyed it. And I had the sales background.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I fell into it. And each year I liked it more. And then now
did you establish a team together, or it was really just kind of a partnership between the two of you?
We were 50-50 partners
Gotcha.
for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, we, at some point, which, I think is normal because we did work together for a long time, at some point it no longer made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, when it was just my business, I saw it really take off.
Sure.
Because you feel a little bit more invested, you feel more comfortable really creating your own marketing programs and
Makes sense.
feel a little bit, I can't describe it, but like less hesitant to reach out to people because they're, I'm working with them solely.
Right.
So I did see my business take off after that.
Yeah. And that was right around, you went off on your own, 2017-ish?
Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to think. That sounds about right. Or
Right around that time frame? Yeah. Okay.
2014 maybe.
Okay.
Or 2016, something like that.
Got it. So it makes sense though in the early times. It sounds like it was your sister-in-law, you said? So she had a little bit more experience, it seems like, originally in real estate. And so that as somebody who's brand new to the business and trying to figure this whole thing out, I have to imagine that would have been helpful, right? To at least your first year, like shadow a little bit, watch, and also the lead flow that she probably had going would make sense for you two. How did it work as a 50-50 partnership? Did you guys divvy up responsibilities on deals, or were you guys just kind of like doing the same things, just replicating each other and lumping it together?
Well, we tried a bunch of different things, and what we found worked is we each took sole responsibility for a deal.
Okay.
Because when we tried to both be involved,
Yep.
we just were getting
Gets
too
sticky.
much communication errors, and it didn't work at all. So we would take the lead unless somebody was on vacation or not available, but we would really focus on a deal.
Right.
And see
You
it
were the main
through.
contact all the way through.
Yeah.
Got it.
I see it now when I'm working with teams and there's, two people involved. There's just, there's so many little details that you've got to follow up on. And
Right.
one other person just.
And it's easier for things to get missed too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we right away, we figured that out. And, for me, I was new to the area and I worked it hard. I did open houses. My kids were in activities and sports. I volunteered with a lot of things. I just met a lot of people organically.
Yep.
And I grew my customer base that way.
And so it sounds like that is, if you were to give some advice, I guess, for someone who's new, right? Because you're not the first that we've had on the show who didn't have a connection here, didn't have a network here. And some people invest heavy dollars into like marketing, platforms to try to like get that lead flow jump started. And then others take your approach, a little bit more of a community type focus. It seems like that doesn't necessarily usually happen as fast most of the time.
Right.
Maybe it did with you, but a lot of times you have to be more patient, right? To see that shake out. Did you experience the same thing?
Yes, definitely. And I do, as I've mentored people over the years, I have given the advice of like, just get involved in what you love and what you're doing, or what you're normally areas that you're in with, that your kids might take you, your whatever your interests are.
Yep.
And go with that. Don't try to manufacture situations to get leads. Just, be who you are, be yourself.
What niche did you find that you were serving? Is there a certain area that you kind of landed on? Was it geographic or was it more like demographic specific?
The people I was engaged with, really.
Yeah.
That was where I've had my most success.
Through the community.
People have gotten to know, and it does tend to take you in a much wider geography than you would if you were looking at a demographic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with that because I would, when I have a relationship with someone, I'm going to go wherever they need me to go.
For sure.
Within reason and help them out. So that's been.
What were some of the key organizations or things that you built these relationships through?
Well, my kids were both playing competitive soccer. I've got tons of good friends and clients through that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it has grown that way.
Totally.
I've done a lot of volunteer work that I've gotten clients that way, church.
Yep.
Love
it. Just living your life, right?
In the neighborhood. It seemed like
living your life and letting people know what you do.
Every time, it seemed like every time I went to a neighborhood event, something came up. And I am very low key. I'm not, most people know what I do, but I don't broadcast it or try to push people into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they know what I do.
Now, was that in West Chase? You live in West Chase now, you said.
West Chase, yeah.
So where have you been there all these years?
I've been there in the same house for 22 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's been the community that you invested in from the very beginning.
Yes. And I would say, 70 to 80% of my business is right there. It's deteriorating a little bit in numbers because I'm getting more spread out into Pinellas County, but
is that just because of network over there?
Yeah, network. Yeah, people that I'm interfacing with. My kids went to Steinbrenner High School, so then I had a lot of more contacts up farther north. So I do sell a lot in that Odessa, Land O'Lakes, Lutz corridor as well.
Yep.
And those are areas I love to serve as well.
Yeah, it's cool. It's similar. We actually just had Kristen Fadal on the show right before you, and so he does a lot of his work in Davis Island, right? He lives there, and it sounds very similar to your path in a way. Like it was very geographic based initially. For him, it was Davis Island that he wanted to become known in, and he did a lot of non-community support type stuff and got involved there. And it sounds like you had a similar path with West Chase, though.
Yes.
And so again, emphasizing the importance, I think, for agents out there to understand how critical it is to have a niche that they can serve, but serve with the passion behind it, right?
I think
like
that
you've done.
because people they can really sniff that out.
Totally.
And I think if you're just loving what you're doing and engaged, it just your person and who you are and what you stand for will come out, and people will gravitate to that.
Was it hard for you to transition into this, running your own business as an agent, being that you had more of a corporate background and a W-2 background? Like that's not an easy transition for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good question. Not as much as I would have thought, because the last couple of positions I actually had a ton of autonomy because I worked for VPs of divisions, and they knew I was doing my thing. One of them called me boss, as a matter of fact.
Gave you a lot of freedom, huh?
Yeah. So I sort of already was operating in that way, sort of on my own, with it, obviously with their guidance, but it felt a lot better.
That's awesome. And then, like I said, you had your sister-in-law there with a little bit of success, so that helped that bridge a little bit, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That was key, introducing me to people and already having some open houses that I could run and some clients that I could integrate with.
What's been your best year that stands out in terms of your numbers and volume?
I think 2020.
Was it?
Okay. I worked every day in COVID. I was showing houses every single day.
A lot of people wanted to move here, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I was, it was really great. I enjoyed the heck out of that year. Yeah. I know there was tragedy, and I'm not taking away from that, but it was just kind of a relaxed pace. I could focus on what I needed to do. I think this year will end up being my next best year.
Nice.
Maybe even surpass it a little bit.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I think I saw when I looked at some of the numbers, like you did over 50 houses in the 1 year I looked at, I think it was. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like for you, what's an average year in terms of number of houses, number of families that you're working with? Is it in that 50 range, or is it lower, higher?
I think it's usually more like a 40.
Okay.
Yeah, 40 to...
Which is a really healthy number for an individual producer. It's not like you're not working with a team. It's you hustling and building your business. Yeah.
And no, I think it's a real comfortable, very manageable number. I could do more, or I could increase my cost of my home. I can do better with my commission. There's a lot of areas for improvement.
Sure. What's also impressive about it is, again, you're not supplementing, it sounds like, with other like marketing sources and lead gen sources, right? It's still all organic.
Yes. Through
referrals, right? In your network.
Yes.
And so, again, it takes real time and a serious network to be able to do that level of volume 100% organically, right?
Right.
It's a fun business to have, I would imagine, at that level, but that's not normal. Most people who do that level, that number of deals, have some sort of marketing supplement that's helping lead gen, right? And help support that. But you've been able to do it without it. So kudos to you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are some of the most like fulfilling things now that you can, you've had a successful career now in real estate for 20 plus years now. Right. What stands out to you the most about your career in terms of it just being like the most fulfilling elements of it?
Well, I love to create a beautiful listing. Like I love listings, and I love to get into a home, and maybe it needs every house needs something, even if it's beautifully decorated, to get it ready for sale. So I love that aspect of it. I can often meet with somebody 3-4 times before I put it on the market.
Okay.
And I think it's unusual for a realtor. I'm an accredited stager.
Oh, cool.
So and I do, not that I don't hire sometimes staging companies to come in, but when I'm dealing with a house that's already furnished and decorated, I'll go in and spend a lot of time getting that house ready for sale. And the
Mm-hmm.
more I spend on the upfront, the quicker it sells.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, to me, one of my favorite parts of my job. Years ago,
Are most of your business now, is it on the listing side? Is it
it's about 50-50.
50-50? Yeah.
Just because most of them do end up having to buy something.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I was at a crossroads where I was noticing I was spending a ton of time on staging. I felt too much and getting homes ready, and it wasn't allowing me to really service all the customers I wanted to. So I thought about outsourcing that, and I decided not to because it's something I enjoy and I think I'm good at. So what I did at that time is I hired somebody to help me do the listing, like put the listings on, and I got a transaction manager. So I decided to offload other parts of the business to free me up to do that.
Yeah, and I think in many ways it gives you a little bit of a distinguishing factor too, right? As a realtor, as an agent, because most agents don't have that skill set, I think, to be able to be an accredited stager at the same time. Maybe some people, have a natural eye for certain things, but like I think there's one of the things that I talk about through the Top Producers Nation community is the importance of having your unique selling proposition. And so that's not the only thing, of course, that you bring to the table, but I think that definitely gives you a little bit of a unique differentiator,
I think it does, and I probably don't talk about it enough, but it's definitely when you ask me, like, what do I think about? What are the rewarding things?
Yeah.
And then, of course, like most of us that are invested in this business, I mean, just knowing that we helped somebody get something for the, that they really wanted or feel real good about their sale. Just as a salesperson with an ego, I want to make sure people are really happy and feel like I added extra value. There was something that I brought that they wouldn't have gotten if they weren't working with me.
How much of your business now, Beth, is through repeat business, through your client base over the years?
Like 80%.
It's that high?
Yeah, it's really high.
Okay.
And I did meet, I do meet people through open houses. I will get calls from agents in other states, and I'm always curious how they found me because I really think I do a horrible job with with all things on the computer.
Outside marketing? Yeah.
Terrible. I'm very low tech, high touch, low tech.
Yeah.
And so, but people do find me, and I get referrals that way. And then they always
What are some
turn
things that you
into
feel like
other-
you've done to help with that 80%? Are there like, client events that you throw or client appreciation things that you do or anything that you feel like has stood out there?
I have done those in the past. I haven't done them in a while. One thing I do is every year for probably the last 20 years, at around the end of the year, around Christmas time, I hand deliver about 275 gifts to people, to my clients that live in town still.
Yep.
Without fail. Every year in December, they're going to expect something on the door.
Nice.
And I just closed with a client this summer. I had sold their house 20 years ago, and then they've been renting for 20 years. And they called me in February, and they said, we have been getting your present every year for the last 20 years. We always knew when we were going to buy a house.
We were using you.
Yeah, and so they bought a house, and then I just got another call, same thing the other day. They bought their house, I think back in 2005. They're ready to sell and buy another one. So, yeah, so that's
gifting is powerful.
It's
one of the what's that book? The 7 Love Languages. Have you ever read that before? And gifting is one
There's
of
5. You gave it 2
I might
more.
have added 2 more then.
Yeah.
In my family, it might be 7. I don't know.
Because you have a lot of people.
We have a lot of kids, so I needed to add more. But yeah, that's one of them. Is the power of gifting, and I think even from a business sense, a lot of people do it wrong because they try to do a gift, but it's really more of a marketing piece than it is a gift, right?
Right.
And so I think at least the book talks a lot about that too, is like the importance of trying to gift in a way that is a genuine gift,
right?
Rather than just some sort of a marketing handout,
So that's only once a year. I do think it's important, and I want to continue doing that. But I make contact with my clients all the time, and in a very low tech way. There's a lot of areas of opportunity for me to do more of a CRM, more of an intentional way. But right now, I just you see on MLS, you see something in their neighborhood, or you send them a message about, did you see this house? And I'm thinking about you, or somebody's got a special event or something.
And you just remember all the stuff in your head if you're not using a CRM or some sort of tech to help you support that. It's just you're just relying on your memory.
Yeah,
huh?
Thankfully, my memory's still holding. So that's why I do need to put something together.
I'm much too forgetful for that, Beth. I must say, I need help as much help as I could possibly get. That's impressive.
Yeah, so I do. I try to touch about, I would say, 15 to 20 clients a week.
I love that.
And I, of course, naturally see people all the time. So
just through your like games and all that kind of stuff.
Just everything. Yeah, my kids are grown now, but just in my daily life.
Are they into real estate yet?
No, I wanted them to be. No.
They don't want to follow that path, huh?
I was hoping one of them would, but that's not going to happen.
You have two, right?
Yeah, I have two boys, 23 and 26.
Gotcha.
So
are they local?
Yeah, they both live local.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But no, it's not going to happen.
No real estate path for them yet, huh?
No.
What, if anything, comes to mind as far as like, I think it's interesting hearing more about your journey because it doesn't sound like you've had this intention to like grow this mega team, or a lot of people go down that path, right? From a recruiting standpoint. And sometimes it hurts their business, right? Because then they start losing focus on what made them successful in the first place. But as somebody who has thrived with high volume, very solid numbers, consistent over the years, what do you think has been like a lesson you've learned as far as a challenge? I'm sure you've had some bumps in the road, right?
Oh, yes.
Some challenges along the way that you had to overcome or learn something from, that you had to adapt to or pivot from. And like, is there anything there that comes to mind that you feel like was a relevant lesson?
No, I've been perfect the whole time.
I'm sure, yes.
No, yeah. No, I mean, I am a constant learner, and always taking a look at what I obviously, like, I don't get everything I go out for. I don't get every listing.
Sure.
I don't, sometimes you'll see a customer that you sold them a house and they sold it without you. I mean, it happens. Yeah. And so I try not to beat myself up. I try to think about, this is an opportunity to say, what more could I be doing? And, what could I doing better? So I think my real challenge has just been having the major systems in place. My systems are in my head, as you said.
Yeah.
They're on an Excel spreadsheet also, right. But that's not real great. And so more creating more systems for now the buyer presentation, the listing presentation, CRM, website, all those types of things are a real area of opportunity for me. So, so I think, the biggest challenges I probably had, because you are your own business and everything is on you, is when you have something that doesn't go how you wanted, is just how you handle that and how you overcome it.
How we perceive it, right? Our attitude towards it.
Make it better. And one of the things that I try to do is just keep myself really on top of all the education I can get my hands on. And I've gotten away from it, but for every couple of years, I was trying to get a new designation and learn something new. And I'm
so
definitely
specifically like industry knowledge, right?
Yeah,
within
industry
real estate.
knowledge. Yeah, and really, trying to stay on top of this market, trying to figure out what's going on, because I get that question,
I'm sure
10 times a day. So, and just trying to balance this with my life, because I have a lot of things I like to do outside of it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that too, for the personal side, for people to get to know you. So what keeps your passions now when you're not jamming in real estate?
Oh my gosh, I have so many things I like to do. Well, I do. I've always had a real being a volunteer and helping out has been in my blood.
Okay.
I think when I was in middle school, my mom had me volunteering at the local senior citizen center.
Cool.
And it just kind of stuck with me. When I was in college, I, voluntarily went and did stuff. So I've always been involved in, right now I'm working with creative women. It's a human trafficking organization.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of stuff, smaller stuff for a lot of other charities. So I love that. It you know, there's a lot of studies that people who volunteer are happier than people who don't.
Absolutely.
Very rewarding. So love that. I love anything home renovation related.
For your own home or helping clients, or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I have a couple rentals, and you know, my fiance has rental. I mean, we just always doing a big home project.
Okay.
And I do get lots of calls from people because they know that's my interest. People say, I'm not going to sell my house for 5 or 6 years, but will you come over and help me pick out my cabinets or my countertops or my flooring, or, you know, it's a real.
Totally.
And if anyone wants me to pick out a paint color,
you're
like
good
my
at that?
zen. That's my happiest day ever. I could just stare at a fan deck.
That's a good offer. I don't think anyone else has offered that yet on the show. So now you have a solid paint expert right here.
Seriously, I'll do it obviously for free.
There you go.
I love to cook. That's a real stress reliever for me.
Is your fiance into real estate too?
Yeah, he is. He's got some. He's got a business, an office building, and some commercial buildings.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you dabble at all on the commercial side, or is it all residential?
No, I did. I had a customer a couple years ago that had me do something for them, and it's just so different. And it just takes my focus away from what. So I have people I like to refer for that because it's just really not my thing.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it's important to stay in your lane sometimes, right? Especially when it's working.
Exactly.
A couple rapid fire questions here again. So one is, do you have a favorite book, author, or seminar that you feel like has really made an impact on you personally or professionally?
Well, that ninja selling book. I mean, I do try to follow a lot of what they have. I listen to their podcast. I've read the book. I've listened to the audio podcast a couple times. I really think that those principles are so easy to implement.
Yep.
And
they're relevant for any career, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if you're in a sales specific career or not.
Right.
All businesses have some element of sales needed. And so that ninja selling stuff is very practical. You're right.
I like that.
Totally. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
Ooh. Well, if I'm chopping vegetables, as I like to do.
Watching the Food Network?
Yeah, I'm watching something stupid on Bravo.
Oh, okay.
But
there you go.
And I just love the 80s comedies, movies. Uncle Buck.
Who doesn't?
I mean,
it's the best decade for sure.
Caddyshack. What's the Overboard? I can watch those on repeat.
National Lampoons is the best Christmas one. All that stuff.
So I really that's who.
Me too. Yeah.
Nothing. Obviously too cerebral.
Right.
Just fun.
Just to lighten it up, right?
Yeah,
I get it. Do you have any favorite places to travel or places that you've been?
Oh man, I've been to some neat places. That's another thing that we did growing up is. That's what my parents cared about, experiences.
Yeah.
Growing up,
we try to do the same with our family too.
Yeah. It's so, it gives you such great perspective. Growing up, we went to China and India and Nepal and Morocco and Turkey.
That's awesome.
Really cool places.
Yeah. Just as family vacations?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Switzerland.
Did you have a big family or growing up?
2 brothers.
Okay.
2 younger brothers. So that's part of who I am. I love that. So,
do you speak other languages?
No. I need to learn Spanish living here.
Is that on the list?
Yeah.
Got you.
I learned French growing up because we were going to France.
Yeah.
But that's so useless here.
Yeah, those are some pretty exotic trips that you just mentioned. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So now as an adult, try to with my family, because my parents are thankfully still alive. We do trips twice a year, but those are becoming more in the U.S. And
makes it harder to travel when they're older. Yeah,
I'm going to Japan in March, so that'll be neat.
But that's on my list. I've never been, but I want to.
I'm excited. Yep. But I mean, honestly, I love. I just went to San Antonio. Austin. There's so many great places in the U.S.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
I love the West
Most
Coast.
of the stuff, my kids are all pretty young, so a lot of our road trips are U.S. based right now because the idea of flying to Europe with kids our age is gives me PSTD, or is that the yeah?
Yes, PSTD.
PTSD. Yes,
Yeah.
That's what it would give me. So whatever it gives me, it's not good. Yeah.
I was going to
Exactly.
say that's something else altogether.
Yeah, totally different experience. So as they get a little bit older, I think maybe we'll do a little bit more of those exotic trips. I hope.
Yeah.
But Lord willing, we have the funds and the finance ability to be able to do that and continue that path. But a couple things as we wrap up here, and I really love some of our conversation about your approach with clients and how you've really appreciated them and shown that ongoing love, and your results kind of speak for that. So I think that's a great takeaway for a lot of for anybody really who would watch the episode. For what I would call our legacy question is something I always think gets people to think, which is when that day does come, Beth, and you're sitting on that rocking chair and you're thinking back about what you'd want to be most remembered for, right? Personally or professionally. What do you think would matter most to you? What would mean most to you as far as what you'd want to be most remembered for, that legacy?
I think, great question. I think probably giving back, giving back both to organizations, but also to people I interact with, customers, being somebody who's, helped along the way.
Yeah.
And done something that maybe nobody else did for them. I think that's what I'd like to be thought of. I've had a very cherished, wonderful life, and I want to, pass that along.
Yeah. Well, I think even just the simple thing about you doing a gift for the last 20 years, like you do to every client in your organization, that's not something I think most agents are doing. So that's one example of doing something that I think would be different, right, than what the experience would be, and it's memorable, from that perspective. So I can see why that has been so not only good from a business sense, but also good just to separate you in their mind as someone who cares, right, in the business. And we're going to put a bow on the episode the way that we always do, which is to really have a call to action to the audience. And so before I do that, is there anyone, if someone wanted to pick your brain a little bit about your gifting program, about your client retention program, about the number of your sheer volume of deals, all organic, which is really impressive, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you and just have a brief conversation if they can do that?
I mean, probably either call 813-363-7802 or Beth Cupari at Gmail. I'm always happy and interested in talking to other agents and helping with that. Because everybody's got their own spin they can put on it to make it theirs.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we'll have to have you on our plan with this Top Producers Nation community that I talked about is to have weekly calls starting in January for moving forward, where we have top producers every week that just jump on, and I can somewhat interview them like this, but really just give them a platform to share some best practices. And I'd love to have you on to talk about your gifting program and some of the other things you do with clients. So that's one thing that stood out to me. But it's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to finish the episode with a call to action for anyone who's watching. So if you're watching live on Facebook or on YouTube, or of course listening on any of the 15 podcast platforms out there that this distributes through, what is one action step that you can take today from our conversation with Beth that'll help propel you forward personally or professionally, so the time that you invested in this will be worth it, right? One little thing you could do, by the way, is if you don't already subscribe to our podcast, just click the little button below. That way you'll be notified every time a new episode drops. We drop a new episode with a top producer like Beth every week. And so hopefully you get value out of listening to these shows and these podcasts for sure. So that's one thing you can do. I love Beth's ideas, though, about her gifting program and the things that she's done to remain 40 plus deals a year, 100% organically, really. Her involvement with the community, her volunteering in the community, and how that network has established itself. But, there's a lot of agents that I've interviewed who do similar things but aren't doing the level of volume that Beth is doing. So that tells you that there's more involved there with her even though she doesn't have a CRM backing it up, her system of really showing that love and that care to her clients, because they're feeling that in some way, shape, or form. And I think the one example she gave is just a testament to that. But what's one thing you can do? Maybe you're somebody who really wants to emulate Beth's business and wants to grow it organically and loves how she's done it. Maybe just having a conversation with Beth can help you, find a mentor in the space that can help you get to the next level. Or maybe you want to become an accredited stager like Beth is as well. So whatever it might be, right? Do something though. Take action on one thing to propel you forward, so that way it'll be worth the next one. We'll see you, of course, on the next episode of Tampa Bay Real Producers. Last thing I'll say, check us out at topproducersnation.com to join the community for free, and then also be able to learn more about ongoing calls with people like Beth, so you can become a top producer in your desired market, wherever that might be. We will see you on future episodes. Later.